Hey, I'm Eric, I'm the Explorer.
I'm Phil, I'm the Folklorist.
And together we are setting out across the Empire State to explore the haunts and legends of New York.
In the shadow of the tall buildings of downtown Utica are the historic mansions of Rutger Park. Today, tucked onto a nearly forgotten tree-lined lot, we explore the history of the homes that once housed the rich and famous of Utica's past and played host to visiting presidents and generals. Join us on this look inside number 3 Rutger Park, the home once known as Miller's Folly.
Well, Phil, you've taken me to a location here in downtown Utica I've heard about for years. I've never actually been on the grounds of Rutger Park.
Yes, Rutger actually is one of the most pivotal, historic buildings and series of buildings in Utica, but not too many people know the true history here.
So we're going to get to go inside number 3 Rutger Park.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look and see what we can find. Well, Stephen, before we even go into the home, you were telling me some really fascinating things about the grounds here on Rutger Park, about, this circular driveway and the different ways that people would come to Rutger Park, because again, these were built way before roads and automobiles. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Judge Morris Miller originally purchased the property in the early 1820s, and he started clearing trees, and he built the stone wall that is out front, and he started the foundation of this home, but sadly he passed away shortly thereafter. And his son Rutger Bleecker Miller finished the home in 1830, and at the time you'd come here with a horse and carriage and tie up at the stone wall, and each home had a large sidewalk that came up to the front door. The grounds had many flower beds and shrubs and trees, so that was part of the effect. You had to walk amongst these gardens to get to the homes.
And today, Rutger Park is really in the heart of, what we'd almost call downtown Utica. It's very close to, the downtown core in Genesee Street. But when these mansions were built, you were telling me this was really kind of almost no man's land. This was a long way out from what the core of Utica was.
Yes. This home was called Miller's Folly for years because everyone couldn't figure out why he built way out here. At that time, the city of Utica, and it wasn't a city until 1832, it was just the Bag Square area. This was uninhabited, so everyone thought he was crazy for building out here, but he enjoyed the view that he got down the wagon path that is now John Street, and as the Erie Canal brought more industry and wealth here, more and more people built along Rutger Street, and it actually became the first residential area outside of the Bag Square area.
So I'm guessing by you telling me that it's no coincidence that this house lines up perfectly with John Street and what would have gone right to what was downtown, the core of Utica at the time where the canal came through. And
yes.
Fascinating. Well, here we are inside number 3 Rutger Park. Tell me some of the brief history of this building in particular, when it was built, and how it has come to be over the years.
Well, this home was built in 1830. It's known as the Miller-Conklin-Kernan Mansion because Judge Morris Miller started the home. Roscoe Conklin owned it for several years, and Francis Kernan also owned it.
So this is, this is a home that, as you were telling me earlier, would have had as its guests some of the most important people in America at the time, considering one of the owners was a United States Senator.
Yes. Over the years, President Chester Arthur visited here, Garrett Smith, the abolitionist, Elizabeth Hamilton, wife of Alexander Hamilton, Civil War Generals Sherman, Hooker, and Grant visited here. Samuel F.B. Morse, inventor of the telegraph, visited here quite often.
And there was actually a business deal done in this house, correct?
Yes. He sold the rights to the telegraph for New York State to John Butterfield and Theodore Faxton.
And then Butterfield's company went on to be what, American Express? Mm-hmm. Incredible history that happened right here in Rutger Park. And not only that, it's just because I'm kind of a roads and a street guy. Every name you were mentioning, turns out that's a street now in Utica, right? So the history of really building out the city almost emanated from the people that have passed through this building.
Yep, the names of the folks who lived here became city street names.
So the home was under private ownership for many, many, many years, and at some point the Utica Landmark Society became the owners and the stewards of the home. Tell me about that story.
Landmarks purchased the property in June of 2008 after quite a battle to generate the funds needed to purchase it. And we've done repair work from that point on, quite a bit of roof patching. We are currently doing some plastering and painting in the kitchen area, which you'll see later. The mansion next door is also owned by the Landmarks, and we're about to start porch replacement on that.
Well, here we are stepping into the what I guess would have been the foyer, right? This is what would have first greeted residents or visitors to the mansion. Tell me about this room.
The center hallway, this is a federal style home. All those style homes have the center entryway with 4 rooms on the bottom floor, and 4 rooms on the second floor, equal or close to equal in size. Yes, everyone would enter here and then would be led to one of the parlors on the right-hand side.
That's interesting when you say the rooms were built with equal size and it was the Federalist style. So that was the style of early America?
For the most part. I mean, there were different styles of homes, of course, but the Federal style home was pretty standard.
And I don't know if do you know any architectural history why they built the rooms the way they did in equal sizes and things like that?
No, other than maybe simplicity.
Yeah.
You know, it was pretty easy to make a square room. They didn't have closets, that sort of thing back then, so a square room is what they would have had. Occasionally you'd see a rounded,
right,
or the occasional round barn countryside, but for the most part square was the shape.
Sounds like the ideas of the Enlightenment, that everything was square and equal and yep.
Who are some of the characters? We have photos up here.
That is Rutger Miller. He completed this home in 1830. His father purchased the property and started the foundation in the early 1820s.
So if the furniture is all replica, are these from the period or original to the house at some point?
Original to the house at some point. I couldn't tell you a time frame.
This was the pantry room or the kitchen, you said?
Yep. As you can see here, you're entering the addition portion of the home.
Okay.
You can see how thick the walls are. The exterior walls.
That was once an exterior.
Yep.
Okay.
This door was not here originally. Again, just clutter galore, but what happens when renovations take place.
Oh, sure.
The kitchen was renovated in 1929. That's why you'll see 1929 era Magic Chef ovens.
Oh, yes.
But like I was saying earlier, take a look at the doorknobs and the hinges on the doors. They all have intricate designs to them, and I'm just fascinated by that because this portion of the home you would not see as a guest. Only the homeowners and the help staff would have seen this area of the home. Or a lot of pantry space, or washroom. This is a beautiful staircase, but it's not very ornate compared to a grand staircase. Unless you were going to stay the night here, visitors to the home would not see this staircase. The doors to the parlors and the center hallway would have been shut, so there was no need for this to be very fancy. this large opening here at the head of the stairs. Very common to this style home. Back in the day, children were to not be seen or heard. So if the homeowner was entertaining, children were out of sight. Children were not allowed to play and roughhouse in their bedrooms, so they center the hallways and these landings they could
Play and be kids. And well, you know, it's interesting that, you know, you said downstairs, you know, we had the very large rooms, the parlor and the foyer and the kitchen, but now up here, look how there's so many rooms.
Yep, this is the main bedroom. Large walk-in closet.
Whoa,
With a bathroom off to the left.
that's a closet.
For about 20 years' time, the home sat with not a lot of maintenance being done to them, so the hardwood floors were damaged quite a bit in some areas. But luckily, it's just the top floor. The wood beneath it is okay. No one's in fear of falling
through.
Despite the aesthetics, the mansions here at Rutger Park are all in great shape. The foundations are good. The roof lines are straight. If you look at them from the road looking in, I mean, they're not doing one of them.
Right, yep.
So they've held up extremely well considering the trouble, almost torture they've been through.
Yeah. So now what would, if you mentioned I missed it, what would this room have been?
This would have been a bedroom.
Okay, so you had another bedroom,
The
okay.
largest of the
addition bedrooms, okay.
So maybe this one belonged to the eldest child, or if any help staff had quarters
Right.
in the house, maybe the butler would have had this room if they required. And I remember speaking to William Dowling, and he remembers as a kid in the summer months, there were always people on the roofs here, patching this, fixing windows, the windows. He says it was a nearly constant battle in the months that we had nice weather here.
Yep.
And the people could do the work. All of them.
What originated with like the lore that these mansions are haunted? Why do you think that, I mean, the condition and just these old spooky mansions that remain abandoned in the middle of Utica almost draws a lot of attention and a lot of sort of legends and stories that just come about. But what do you think? Are these mansions haunted?
Well, we've had people come in and say they've found evidence of spirits, and I think the draw is just because of the history. You figure how many people lived here, how many births and deaths took place in these old homes over the years. So I think it goes without saying that every home that has quite a history to it may have evidence of ghosts.
When have you experienced anything here?
I have not personally, but some of the other Landmarks board members have been here and claim to have heard footsteps, heard voices, bells ringing, a number of things that, you know, would lead you to believe that there's something or someone else
Something
here.
else going on here.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, this was a fascinating look inside number 3 Rutger Park, one of the most historic and significant homes in the city of Utica.
There's so much history that attaches, so much amazing business and even ghost stories that
Yes,
are
indeed.
attached to this place. And it's just such a huge part of Utica's history.
Hey, if you enjoy the Haunts and Legends of New York series, give this video a thumbs up.
And subscribe and hit the comments below to let us know where else we should go.
We'll see you next time on the Haunts and Legends of New York.